is the key when it comes to the hailstones.
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
When Tanya and I started the program, one of the problems with the existing test methods, one, there was the steel ball test. We know steel balls don't come out of thunderstorms, and the damage they produce on roofing materials does not look like hail damage at all. Well, then you would say, oh, Ian and Armand, why don't you just make ice in a mold in a freezer? The problem is, when it comes to consistency, stone number 5 is not at all the same as stone number 205 because you get all those expansion cracks. Think about when you pull an ice cube out of your freezer, what happens? It cracks, right? Well, in this process, we can actually control for that. And so we can make sure that stone number 12 is about the same as stone number 112 down the line. So I'm gonna go walk over to the freezer in a second and actually show y'all what kind of ice we're producing and what that looks like when it comes out of the hail machine. So this is a piece of our cylinder of ice. It's been in the freezer for a little while, but you can see it's very opaque. And that's because of all those trapped CO2 bubbles. That's how we actually lower the density of this ice down to what natural hail is. So ice in your freezer is gonna be more dense than a natural hailstone. And so we have to control for that. We don't make this the same way a thunderstorm makes hail, but we engineer it to match those measurements that Brenna just talked about.
Pretty cool. Shall we continue, sir?
Yeah, so now we're gonna have the more fun. So we've taken all these measurements, we've made our ice, we know we have to account for strength, density, all that good stuff. Well, now we gotta go test the building products, the roofing materials themselves. So we got Terrence here. Terrence works a lot and shoots a lot of hail over in the Hail Lab here, and he's gonna take us through a couple actual impact tests on this particular shingle panel. This is an impact rated shingle. It's meant to perform well against hail. And so we're gonna go see how it does. And we're gonna walk you through it. We're gonna attempt to do some fun with the GoPro here. So you guys out there might see a hailstone coming at you, but we'll let it go. So sometimes technology gives you what you want, sometimes it doesn't. But you'll watch Terrence, he's gonna weigh each stone. We log its measurements to make sure it's within the test program specification. I just mentioned consistency. And then he'll load it up in our propulsion system. Again, using controlled pressurized gas, electronically controlled potato gun, and we're gonna let it rip. So he'll go load it up in the barrel. You can see we've got a laser sight in there so we know what location we're hitting. And for a real shingle test, when we're testing a product, there's specified locations that get impacted. And each one of those, their damage is evaluated.
Anytime we have guests, they always want to see this part. And so I'm really excited about this. Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, Terrence, let's go for it.
3, 2, 1.
So there, notice, we had a bit of a softer impact. You see that kind of slushy residue. I don't know if you can see that on the screen right now, but that's one of those impact modes. We do hard shatter, hard bounce, soft. And what that means is when a hailstone hits your roof, it can do 3 things based on its strength. It can turn into a slush, which is really effective at dislodging those granules, but doesn't produce those big dents and tears. Or it can shatter or bounce off, and that's when you start to create those big dents that may be all too familiar to some folks out there who've dealt with hail damage. And then even to the extreme side is tear the shingle, which gives you that water entry potential.
Yeah, let me ask you another question that we just got here. What kind of damage does hail usually cause? You've sort of touched on it, but give us a little bit more there.
Yeah, so hail, if you think about damage to your car, that's gonna start at about 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches. Once you get to 1.5 inches, a conventional asphalt shingle, especially one that's aged, is not gonna hold up well. Now, a product like this, and we can walk inside and take a look, is going to hold up better. And again, that's a little plug for our IBHS shingle ratings. We can talk some more about that. So once you get above that 1.5 inches for a conventional asphalt shingle, you're gonna start seeing damage.
Can we go in?
Yeah, we can go take a look at it. And we'll just keep talking about that.
Sure.
A lot of times people see on social media the extreme cases where you have siding that's just kind of completely obliterated or windows damaged. Those are actually rare cases. Most of the time, hail is just damaging your roof. 90%